Indeed. Okay, Ben, let's welcome you to the programme. And what's the latest on youth leadership and My Life, My Say?
That's a very good question. Yes, hello, everybody. So we're going to talk about My Life, My Say. We've talked about them a lot over the past 6 months or so. They're an extraordinary organisation. They describe themselves as a youth-led charity, but actually they're not youth-led. They might have a few people in there up front talking about what the charity's up to, but they're actually surrounded by a whole bunch of different organisations, from the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change to the US State Department, the Secret Intelligence Service, MI6, Chatham House, Tortoise Media, Yad Hanadiv, a couple of branches of the Rothschild family, UK Youth, which is patroned by Princess Anne, so like direct line into the top level of the British establishment. One Young World, which is chaired by Paul Polman, who we've spoken about previously, former CEO of Unilever and trustee of the Rockefeller Foundation. So My Life, My Say might present itself as some kind of organic youth movement, but it's absolutely not that at all. They've been extremely active over the past few months. Obviously, it's election season, and they've been sending out updates about how successful they've been in reaching younger people. So they actually reached 4,061,056 young people between the age of 18 and 24. And then nearly 500,000 of these people clicked through one of their links to sign up to vote on the gov.uk website, with a 12% click-through rate. And if we look at the ONS data from 2024, we can see that they actually reached just under 75%, so 73% of all of the 18 to 24-year-olds in the UK, right? That's an extraordinary feat that they have achieved. And let's have a little listen here to the kind of messaging that they've been putting out to them. Yo!
Hey guys! I got this message from that job I applied for last week and they just fucked me off already.
Get out!
I'm busy. I want to get out of my mum's house. I'm done. I'm trying, okay? I'm trying.
I have like a vegetarian mindset, but I just can't afford to live the vegetarian life.
I'm busy.
Sake.
Just these, please.
Unfortunately, on this occasion, you have not been successful.
That is $22.98, please.
You are?
Sona!
Really?
Yes.
I'll just take this.
It's a joke. I'm so tired of it now.
It's $14.50, please.
£14.50.
2 coffees and a sausage roll.
Yeah.
What?
I could have helped her, but I'm not having it docked out of my wages. I
can't even get a hospital appointment till next year.
The NHS is so understaffed.
Mind your own business on me.
Pints are so expensive now. I'm getting tap water.
Right, next one's on you.
I can't see round.
I don't ever do that.
It happened to my friend the other day, and she called the police and nothing happened. They did absolute nothing for it.
I don't have 6 months of rent.
Yeah.
It is rough out here.
Enough is enough.
Something needs to change.
I want to say in this. Get your butt to the polling booth.
This stuff matters.
Let's all be
Just made it from work, and I'm here. Let's go.
So I find that extraordinarily cynical, as you'd expect, given who we're talking about here, because what they've done, they've obviously done a lot of research. They've established quite substantial networks of relationships with young people. They've asked them what the big issues are that they're concerned about: cost of living, you can't get a job, inflation's going through the roof, the NHS is in meltdown, violence against women and girls, they want a ceasefire in the Middle East. Great. But the thing is, they're being presented with politics as the solution to this, whereas politics is actually the reason that all of this stuff is happening. It's amazing what they've managed to do here. Actually, I might throw this one back at you two gentlemen for a quick comment, because the thing that really jumped out at me here is that we've got the US State Department involved here. That's just cut and dried election interference on their part, isn't it? How many treaties is that breaking?
No, I think you got that wrong. It's only if the Russians do that, it's a problem, Ben. So this is the US directly interfering in our election. That's okay. But if the Russians do it, it's not okay. It's a very simple system.
Okay, good. I'm going to note that down for future reference. Thank you very much. Putin's bad. There we have it. So how have they done this? Right? I mean, this is a huge operation. We've talked about some of the organisations that have been involved in putting it forward, but a lot of it has been driven through corporate partnerships as well. So they talk about 300 organisations in media, entertainment, ad agencies, the youth sector, culture, sports, all different parts of the economy and across society have been helping them with this, from Tinder to Snapchat, the Premier League, so like football and a lot of the Premier League teams have been involved in this. We've got Lime bikes. If you've been to London, you would have seen these littering the place. So they've had their advertising written along the side of the bikes. If you're using one of the bikes and you go into the application to book it, then you're going to be seeing Give an X messaging, which is the campaign that My Life, My Say have been running. They've had Ben and Jerry's there as well, the ice cream brand, which is, let's just be honest, junk food. And it's owned by Unilever as well, which used to be led by Paul Polman, who's a trustee of the Rockefeller Foundation. I spoke about him a few minutes ago. The music industry and artists are getting involved in this as well. So here we can see London Grammar, who are a major label signed recording artist. I'd be interested to understand if there's any symbolism in there with the crossed arms and the flower. There's probably something sinister going on, knowing this crowd. The Royal Albert Hall, so a little bit more highbrow, but they've been getting in on the act as well. BBC News. So, obviously non-partisan BBC News getting behind what is essentially a neo-Marxist revolutionary outfit. You've got the Diana Award in there. So the royal family, again, rearing their head. And I'll come back to the Diana Award in a moment. And then also some of the agencies as well. I think this is really important, actually, because one of the organisations that they've been working with is Ogilvy UK. Ogilvy being one of the original advertising agencies, actually, one of the biggest ad networks in the world. It's owned by WPP, who we've spoken about in recent weeks. The chief executive of WPP is Mark Reed, who is a young global leader of the World Economic Forum. And the vice chairman of Ogilvy in the UK is this gentleman, Rory Sutherland, who is one of the biggest proponents and users of nudge theory, the techniques codified by David Halpern and the Behavioural Insights team in the Mindspace document, which have been spoken about for many years now on UK Column. Rory Sutherland and Ogilvy were absolutely at the heart of applying those principles, those techniques to commercial advertising. So nudge has been rooted right into the heart of how this has been developed and how it's been pushed out into the 18 to 24-year-old population in the UK. We also know that beyond Ogilvy, the organisation is working with Freud's Group. Freud's Group is a strategic partner to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So this was reported on the news a couple of months ago now, when it first became apparent that this was a client relationship. And you can see there on the left-hand side that they are presenting some of the campaign artwork, but they put the 17 colours of the SDGs across the top to show that these two things are intrinsically linked with each other. That's essentially what this campaign is. Yeah? This is purely globalist, about pushing towards this international agenda. And sitting right at the heart of it is this fella, Mete Choban, MBE. He's the chief executive. He founded My Life, My Say, and he received his MBE for the work that he did with MLMS in getting young people into voting into the political system. He is a good personal friend of Keir Starmer. He actually posted this on July the 7th, just a few days after the election, congratulating Starmer, celebrating the fact that he's going to have a Labour Prime Minister for the first time in his adult life, and also talking about the fact that Starmer himself has been a good friend to My Life, My Say, but also to Choban personally. And Starmer apparently is the right person to restore young people's trust in politics. I think, well, wait and see how that goes before making any firm decisions either way on it. Now, there's been a big development this week beyond the work that they've done with the general election, and probably because of the work done around the general election, I should say. Coban has been promoted. He's been bumped up into a new role as Deputy Mayor of London for Environment and Energy, working alongside his longtime friend and collaborator, Sadiq Khan. These two hang around with each other all the time, as I understand it. And just from the outside looking in, it looks like Khan is mentoring this young man and grooming him for probably quite a significant position in the global left-wing political establishment. They may be even talking about him as a future prime minister. It wouldn't surprise me. Now, this energy and environment, or so should I say, environment and energy role, builds on the work that Coban's already been doing in Hackney. So he's been running that program for Hackney as a Hackney councillor. He's been introducing electronic charging infrastructure onto housing estates where, frankly, the people that live there can barely afford to eat, let alone buy an electric vehicle. But hey-ho, this is what seems to be front and centre for the Labour Party at the moment. That's all been done via a public-private marketplace. So this organisation here called Zest are making a lot of money out of taxpayers in order to implement this charging infrastructure. So this is just another fascist system that is being perpetuated by Coban, and obviously will be expanded because he's been doing that in Hackney. He's now going to be running it across London. The assumption should be that we're going to see a lot more of that happening across the whole of the city. He's going to be replacing in the position as vice mayor this lady, Shirley Rodrigues. And she was under investigation, interestingly, at the end of last year. And this might be one of the reasons why she's moved on, because she was personally intervening with universities who were writing unfavourable reports and studies about the impact of the ULEZ scheme. So basically, if the science doesn't fit your political agenda, then it's fine for you to ring up and try and strong arm people into changing their positions. So we'll see if Coban carries along in that vein of activity or not. He's probably going to be working quite closely with UK 100, which is the Christopher Hone-backed and C40 City aligned UK network of mayors, local leaders pushing for a cleaner and more powerful communities, as they say on the front page of their website. And he's probably in that role going to be working directly with this fella here, who is Phil Glanville, who's the Director of Advocacy and Engagement at UK 100, who joined there at the end of last year, having had to resign his position as Mayor of Hackney because of a scandal involving a party that he went to alongside someone that he knew had been was being investigated by the police and facing criminal charges for child abuse, or actually, sorry, for pictures of child abuse. Let's just be absolutely clear about that. So that, I think, tells you quite a lot about left-wing politics in the UK and also the people who are sitting at the centre of the climate movement. Now, who's going to be taking over at MLMS? Just very quickly to wrap up, it's going to be these two, Dan Laws and Melissa John. Can't find much on Melissa John, but Dan Laws we've spoken about before, and he is, amongst other things, a Schwarzman Scholar. The Schwarzman Scholarship is designed to build a global community of future leaders who will serve to deepen understanding between China and the rest of the world. And it is backed by Stephen Schwarzman, who's the CEO and chairman of Blackstone. So it seems clear who's going to be pulling the strings at MLMS and right really into the heart of the UK political system from now on.
Ben, thank you very much for that. As you go through it, my mind instantly takes me back to David Cameron's Big Society. And this, to me, seems to be the future. These people are going to be running every aspect of our lives. It is not going to be we, as ordinary people, will decide how we want to live and how we enjoy our lives. But we need to do a lot more work on the whole of the issues that you're covering. So thank you for that.